that's the thing with the next season. It's kind of like they're starting right away. I mean, it's like, but can this whole story carry a whole nother season? I mean, what's going to be different? Like, I guess the difference is that she's going in not friends with, like, now she knows, she's seen the confessionals, and not even the confessionals. So I guess like Dorit and Kyle are now enemies of hers. I guess that's the difference. Like, I think it's going to be more on the interrelations.
Is Dorit, are Dorit and Kyle an enemy? I don't know. I personally don't.
Maybe they're
I don't
not.
know what, Kyle's going to have to get some big girl panties on to go up against her, because they fight differently. And well, but now that there's Sutton and Garcelle, I think it's going to be more of Sutton and Garcelle. You keep saying that it's going to be Kyle. I don't know. I don't know that it's going to be Kyle against Erika. I think it'll be Garcelle and Renna and Sutton and Erika. And maybe Kyle will, I don't know.
You don't think Kyle has it in her to really take Erika to task?
In her way, but it's like they're coming to the fight with different sized swords.
Do you think Erika would be a more difficult opponent than LVP for Kyle?
I think that LVP and Kyle fight more fairly, and it's a little bit more of a chess game between them, whereas fighting with Erika, Kyle's playing chess and Erika's playing checkers, and they're just going to fight differently. I don't see Kyle ever stooping to the level. I don't see Erika, well, I don't know, maybe she would scream and show her teeth to Kyle, but I don't see Kyle ever like engaging on that level. And I don't see if Erika came at Kyle like that, where Sutton just kind of like laughed at her and like, didn't say anything, but just kind of smiled and laughed at her. And that's how I handle it. I kind of laughed. I was like, are you serious right now?
Well, if it's Erika and Rinna versus Garcelle
and Sutton,
the others three plus Kathy need to do something.
They will. There'll be something. Somebody will slip up and give them something. Something will happen.
I predict the biggest change next season. Well, I predict two changes. Garcelle. I mean, I think Garcelle now she's always had a voice. I think you can't, but I think now that this is all played out, she's going to come back.
Oh yeah.
With a much stronger voice even than ever. Like, I think she's going to, Dorit and Erika better watch out. And Rinna, like, I think Garcelle realizes now, like, this is up.
And good for her. I'm glad, because I saw something. Oh, when she was on Watch What Happened Live, she said something about like how Dorit will never yell at her like that again.
Really?
And I thought, yeah. And I thought, good. Like, I love that she was not having it. I mean, that was weird to me. Well, I don't know why we talk about that last week.
Well, a lot of people are saying that was Dorit is coming back. It's just, but everybody coming back is not like, it just means that they needed to start this immediately, because like, this is real time.
Yeah.
And this is a gold mine, and this is the ratings. I mean, do you know the reunion last week was like at an all-time high? 1.5
million people watched it,
which for Housewives these days especially is way up there. But so, I mean, but Beverly Hills in general. So I think, right, this is like, so they're not, they can't make any cat. I mean, yeah, they could have let someone go, but why? If you're the highest rated at the moment, why would you change it up?
Why would you mix it up? Yeah.
A lot of people said that they feel, to answer your question, that that was Dorit's like pathetic attempt of like, I'm here, I'm not being fired, people, which she wouldn't have been anyway. But I think that Dorit is starting to get to that. Just what we talked about last time, that everyone wanted to go steal and run away. And now there's a headline, Dorit's on the chopping block, because I said it, but I didn't exactly say that. I think Dorit is possibly right. Like, it's like, but it doesn't even cite me. It's like, at least cite me and like have like Dorit pissed off at me. But like, I think that Dorit is, I mean, again, process of elimination. And I still stand by what I said, which was also lifted. I do believe that it's going to be a combination of Crystal realizing what the game is and producers being like, step it up nicely, just like, come on, get in there. And I think
who is she gonna like who she'll have to go to task with Erika too then.
I think she's going to be right next to Sutton and Garcelle. I think she's like, ever since that New York Times article came out with the three of them. And I mean, her and Sutton are good. I mean, they both said it on my show. So it's like, I think Crystal's going to be in that camp of like,
I hope so.
I like
them together. That's like the brains. And I hope Kyle goes with them too. And Kathy. I mean, listen, I would just love it to be like Rena and Erika on an island and, you know, alienate themselves completely.
I mean, I still think Dorit is eventually, she's the sacrificial lamb in this group, I think, eventually. I mean, Crystal maybe eventually too, if she does, but I think Crystal has it in her and I think Dorit is the one who it's like, I do think Rena eventually will have to go, but are they really going to get rid of Lisa Rinna before Dorit Kemsley? No. Rinna's not going anywhere. And I mean, when this is over, they're not going to get rid of Erika right away. They're not. No. So that's not. And
is left at least.
Who?
Erika. I think they give her at least 2 seasons after this.
I think so. Because listen, at some point it's like, holy shit, like, look what you've given for the show. I mean,
but then again, like, what if there's nothing going on? You know what I mean? What if and she turns into this bitter person that just like hates everyone that's living this great life and she's in a shitty apartment. That's not nice to say, but you know what I mean?
You know what I think? I think that they will specifically then say to her, give us your list of friends. Come on, let's go. I do. I think they would keep her and figure it out. Like, just let's figure out who to cast so they can be an ally to Erika.
Oh, I see. Oh yeah, that's good.
Because I mean, she doesn't have any friends. The argument though is like, what did she ever do before? I mean, yes, maybe maybe she came in hot, but before this, the last 3 before this whole thing, like, what did she give? She didn't share anything about her life. Everything was off limits. God forbid you say anything. You're like, Chess, you didn't really know what was going on at her home. And so like, she's one of those that got a free pass because she was Erika Jayne. And it is, yeah. And it is true that like, you can tell Andy has favorites. You can just tell.
For sure. He loves her dancers.
He does. And he loves her and he loves Rinna. And I mean, Kyle ain't going nowhere.
No.
I mean, especially now, what are they going to do? Fire Kyle and keep Kathy? Kathy would be like out of there. Yeah. So Kathy has definitely saved Kyle's job. Not that she was on the chopping block, but solidified that she won't. So it's like, by process of elimination, I mean, Sutton isn't going anywhere now. I mean,
no.
And Garcelle is, it's like the all roads, like right now, if someone said you have to vote one, it would be Dorit. It would.
Yeah.
Listen, I think she was like a great housewife. She did what she should. But I think soon her story will just be over. It's just going to be like, there's nothing left. Like, we've seen it all. Not yet, but I think Crystal, we're going to see a whole different Crystal. I
hope so. I would love her to, be strong and support Garcelle and Sutton and them to form a good little trinity there. you know.
You know what's strange to me is like Crystal, because she was on the show. Crystal on my show said she was a fan. Like she watched all the franchises. Like she knows these people. She was able to quote Housewives for me. Like she knows. So it
Damn.
is a little bit interesting that she didn't come in with more. But at the same time, I think it's such a hard season. Like for all we know, there's so many deleted scenes. Because look, she did have this thing with, you know, Sutton and all this. So I think
Sure, sure.
I think you would have seen more of Crystal. I just think the Erika thing was all encompassing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And because
Oh,
think
yeah.
about it, there was more Crystal with being violated and all. She tried to stir it up. And I just think in real time, I mean, think about it. Producers were probably like, holy shit. Like, did you read what just happened last
Right,
night? Like,
right.
so I think they were just like, we got a back burner and we just know
Right.
everybody better than Crystal. So that's why we feel like we don't know her.